Of our four approaches profiled in this book, the classical and evidentialist approach are the closest to each other. Indeed, many apologists, such as William Lane Craig and J.P. Moreland, Richard Swinburne, cannot, for various reasons, be neatly placed into one approach rather than the other. In fact, I would even say that sometimes they bring in other influences that they may have popularized, that people look at the TV screen and do the Leonardo DiCaprio, hey, I've seen this meme to it. Well, one reason that it is so in the second step or stage of the classical approach uses many, if not all, of the very same arguments that are part of the evidentialist arsenal. So if you remember from our classical approach, they got to have kind of a two-step process. The first one is to present the case that God is possible, that a deity exists in some reasonable way that's done logically, usually through deductive reasoning. And then the second step that they do is to present the facts of the evidence of the case that Jesus Christ is the fulfillment of God, visible to us in the best way possible. And so makes some of the cases of Jesus being deity, existing, his resurrection, his continued existence in the world, the popularity of Christianity to move and to improve the lives of all people that it touches, and so that overlap there is shared here by our evidentialist method approach.
All right, exactly. So that's one reason, right? The second step is the evidentialist step for the classicalist, but it's the first step for the evidentialist and the only step, right? Another reason our authors tell us for the similarity between these two approaches is that evidentialism itself is by nature eclectic, right? They kind of pulls together a bunch of stuff. And therefore, evidentialists freely use classical apologetic arguments, including those used by the classical apologists to establish their theism. But despite the similarities our authors want us to know between the two approaches, there are some differences that justify recognizing them as two distinct families or types of apologetics.
So as we've already noted, the main difference is that the classical approach builds the case for Christianity in two stages. First, the evidence for God, which is the theism approach, and then the second is the evidence for Christianity specifically. The rationale for this approach is that the miracles of Christianity can be viewed as credible only within a theistic worldview. And so these aren't just go out in the world and find the weird things that happen in the world and say, this is odd and outside of our normal naturalistic framework, and so therefore God exists. No, it's overlaid with the concept of the background of a theistic overview, something like the Old Testament or a worldview that's been built upon that a large number of people have held to, and that is revelatory. I would make the argument for, but that also can be viewed in the story of nature itself as well.
Right, and so this is what the classicalists do, right? They say we need to have this defense of the Christian worldview in order for miracles to make sense, right? And so that's a rationale for the miracles of Christianity. Evidentialists obviously don't believe that. Right?
Yeah, and that's one of the interesting differences is that the classicalist would say you need this background, and the evidentialist seems to say let the evidence kind of speak for itself, and people will gravitate towards the claims made by the people that are performing those miracles, or that the architecture of the story has fit so well that to reject it would be absurd. And so that's tends to be the kind of big difference between those two fields.